Hi there, folks. Welcome to the Talking Dog Show. Now, you see my door is open back there because I have a bunch of pack of dogs that are out, and I don't want to put them away for the show. Some people were closing the door and putting the dogs away, and I said, no, 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 it's fine. This is the Talking Dog Show. That's what it's all about. I'm not going to make my dogs suffer when we get together. Listen, today we have a really important subject. And I have a guest coming on who is the director of the uh, Canine Guardian Program, the Noble Canine Guardian Program, Samantha Abrahams. And I always want to say Abrams, and then I have to kind of do that. Sorry for the weirdness. Um, but I wanted to talk for a moment because many, many people don't. I'm going to invite Sam on now. Sam, come on on. How do I do that, Arturo? Oh, good. All right. So yeah. So I invited Sam because she's going to be sharing with you a presentation that she does with organizations. And I wanted to talk for a moment before she does that because she's going to give you some science and some of the really good info that she does with our customers or our clients. But I wanted to talk about how important it is that your skin is the largest organ of your body. And when people who are chronically ill or people who live alone and have, focus a great deal alone, and perhaps they're depressed, perhaps they are not well, perhaps they're old and seniors and their friends died or they don't have family, etc. So what happens is they don't get touched often. And I've known for pretty much my whole life intuitively how important touch was, how important our skin is to giving the brain body a message that we want to be alive, that we're in relationship to life. And I'm going to invite Sam to do her presentation, and I may interrupt from time to time. I hope I don't do too badly. And yeah, because it's really important info for people to get. Every show I talk about dogs as the top supplement that you can use in your life. And each show, I try to give some really good backup science to that remark because people don't understand how vital a dog is to our health, how they were bred over, thousands of years alongside of us and generated a relationship between us genetically because as we lived together, shared together, ate together, slept together, raised our young together, all those amazing things that we've done for over 3,000 years, um, the truth is that we have exchanged a great deal, and it's really not just psychological, it's psychophysiologically based, and it's science that you can see. There's a reason why after a heart attack, if a person gets a dog, they have the highest chance of anything I've ever heard of survival, over 33%. Okay, that's crazy. There's 31 to 33%. It depends on what numbers you're using, but let's say over 30%. Listen, I don't know any drug you can take that gives you an over 30% chance of survival. Okay. That's a really valuable thing. And that's something your dog can give you without ever messing with your liver and without ever doing things that can harm other organs in your body. And you'll have fun and you're apt to move a little more. I mean, let's face it. And there's many, many more things which Sam is going to share with you. So, Sam, I welcome you, Samantha Abrahams, and she is the Director of Therapeutic Solutions at uh, the Noble Canine Guardian Program. There we go. Okay, I got it all out.
You did, you did. Thanks, Anahata. It's always good to be here with you and share in the conversation about the healing power of dogs. It's one of our favorite topics. So thank you for letting me come here today. And today I want to talk specifically about the healing power of both touch and eye contact that dogs can offer to seniors. There are many capacities, as you've already mentioned, where dogs can be healing in different settings with different populations. But today I want to speak specifically about seniors and how dogs can help them.
You
So,
know, Sam, while you're focusing on seniors, I also want to say that the program I developed, seniors, chronically ill, and shut-ins, all three go together for me. So just
absolutely.
FYI, folks, when you have a chronically ill person, oftentimes they end up divorced. Oftentimes they end up alone. Their children end up growing up and going away, and doing their lives, and they end up alone. And so it's the population that lives alone and is challenged in some way. That's the population that Sam is addressing.
Yeah, and even though I'm going to be sharing slides, feel free to jump in anytime, and we'll just make it a little bit more
I
conversation.
never seem to have difficulty doing that.
It's always more interesting that way, anyways, in my opinion.
Okay. Oh, you're
Okay, so
kind.
I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, just let me know if you can see that all right.
Uh-huh. Beautiful.
Okay, great. So, um, as you mentioned,
Sam, I think you need to move it up a little bit. If you can, move that screen up a little bit. I don't know if we can. Let's see. That's good. That's good, Sam. That's going to work just fine.
okay. Okay. So, as you mentioned, Anahata, skin is the largest organ of the body, and there's strong scientific evidence and specific statistics backing the power of touch, especially for seniors, or as
You
you
need,
mentioned,
sweetheart, do you need help working that thing?
um,
You should
can-
just be able to touch your arrow
oh yeah,
key.
yeah.
Touch the arrow key instead of going back and forth to the original. That shouldn't happen.
Did it go back and forth to the original?
Yeah, quite a few times. There
Oh,
we go. Okay.
okay. All right. Just let me
I
know if
think
it,
it's really good to describe what the skin is because
yes.
people don't realize that there are literally over 100,000 nerves in the tiniest space.
hmm So here are some of the statistics about and the descriptions of what the skin is, and I'll talk about that a little bit. Um,
Why is that
so-
doing that?
Sam, do you want us to share the screen because
I
yours
think
is
we
going
should
all over
share
the
the
place?
screen, honey.
Let me
okay,
because we're
We're
having
gonna
some
do it.
technical issue
that would
there.
be great. That would be
Yeah,
helpful.
there's just a technical issue. There we go.
And then you just say next slide and we'll just move it for you.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, so yeah, especially for seniors, and the unique role that dogs can play in fulfilling this vital need that they have. And as you mentioned, Anahata, anybody who is really touch deprived, the need that they have for affection, health promoting contact, and eye gaze. Um, as seniors grow older, they often receive less touch, affection, and eye contact, and sometimes not at all. Yet, contact with a dog, petting them, hugging them, feeling them lean in and cuddle and snuggle, or looking into their eyes can signal a sense of aliveness and well being to the body. And for someone who's aging and not getting tenderness and touch, connecting with a dog can also increase their desire to remain alive and well, simply due to being touched and seen by a dog. So again, this slide here is touching on how the skin is the largest organ of the human body. All of the
I mean,
proprioception
20 square feet. That's a
Mm.
huge space. 20 square feet.
Can I
in
jump in for a
weight as
second?
well. It's the
I,
biggest organ
I
of
just
the
want to
body.
I just want to jump in for a second because this is an opportunity to share a little deeper.
Yeah, please.
I think the power of this illustration, to me is when you look at a cross section and a microscopic view of your skin, we don't always see how, the word porous might be, that we are, how connected the skin is to the rest of the body, how it's this medium to transmit information from the outside to the inside.
Right.
So that's really the power of this, because it's so important, and it's built to receive that information. So that's all. I just wanted to jump in and add.
Yeah,
Yeah.
layer
Yeah.
by layer. And it also has 1,000 nerve endings per square inch. So not only are you receiving the information in terms of your body, being able to take in things from the atmosphere, from the world that you live in, but it also is transmitting information to your brain.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for that, Archer. I appreciate that. So I think we can move on to the next slide after this one.
Next one down.
Well, I'm going to stay here for just a second
Sure.
because Arturo opened up a lot more awareness in terms of the power of that organ, our skin, because we have certain corpuscles that do work for light touches, right? Really light touches. And then we have them for a more pressured touch, and then one for a sustained touch. Those are discs that we have inside the skin, the organ of the skin. And then we have even the Ruffini endings, which sound really funny, but those are for stretching. And, when you think about this organ, when you think about the skin, people do not think of it as an organ. They think of it as their skin that covers their body. They get tan. They want it to be a certain color. They don't want it to be scarred, or they do want it to be scarred. It's like all these things. But what they don't realize is that touch releases oxytocin. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Okay, that's what that is. It reduces stress and increases a mood. We call it the happy hormone because it makes you feel more relaxed, more happy. And it also reduces cortisol, which is the stress hormone that makes you unhappy, that causes for your heart not to work well, and all of those things. It also is, when you have a dog, you have consistent touch. It's not like once in a great while when your niece visits you and you get touched, right? It's when the dog comes in and out, when you go to bed at night, when you get up in the morning, all throughout the day. For me, I have dogs surrounding me all the time. You can't see them on screen, but they're just below here on my lap and everything. And I'll show you dogs later. Yeah. But that many touches is constantly signaling, and it utilizes all those different types of touch, the sustained touch, a light touch. You get to take in the breath, whether you know it or not. You are breathing the same air and you're breathing out, and all of your old cells are leaving you, and the same with the dog. And so you're exchanging constantly. And so the body mind of an individual who lives alone and doesn't get touched often is completely revived and completely stimulated. And it's telling the body mind that it wants to be here. The signals everywhere are, I want to be alive.
Right, right. And so, generally speaking, studies show that touch-based interventions, not just with dogs, but touch-based interventions significantly reduce things like pain, depression, anxiety, and stress in adults. And physiologically, touch reduces blood pressure, it lowers stress hormones, as you mentioned, specifically cortisol. It improves quality of sleep and boosts immunity. And studies show that human to animal touch based therapies have measurable stress reducing and calming effects. Um, so, again, our skin is highly sensitive to touch, as you mentioned. So, touch can actually trigger neurochemical responses that promote relaxation and emotional bonding. and also changes in the hormones we've mentioned, like oxytocin and cortisol. Um, the key findings um, show that, as you mentioned, gentle touch,
Can you put lights up, please?
like
Thank you.
stroking, patting, and holding a dog, it acts like a social safety signal and creates a positive change in the body's ability to adapt to stress and recover following a stressful event or circumstance. So, gentle touch, like the touch that we experience with dogs, that a senior could experience with a dog, it calms the brain's fear center, the amygdala.
Hmm.
Um, and to me, that information is so cool. Like there's actual brain responses that occur and can calm our system just from the touch of a dog. I just think that's incredible. So the amygdala, when it's activated, it engages the reward and oxytocin pathways. And as you mentioned, oxytocin is, you called it the happy hormone. It's also known as the love hormone. And it promotes social bonding and trust and empathy. Here's the interesting thing, both a shared experience between humans and dogs. So just for example,
That's right. It happens in the dog at the same time. It's
yeah,
not just in the person, it's also in the dog, studies show.
right. So, just for example, a study showed cortisol levels dropped after just 10 minutes of petting a dog, and oxytocin levels increased after 5 to 20 minutes of petting a dog. Whereas I just had to look it up, the average anxiety medication can take 30 to 90 minutes to take effect and
Yeah,
often comes with really undesirable side effects. So,
exactly. Just look at them. You can see them on the TV.
It's so
yeah,
interesting. I'm gonna jump in with a point in a story because it was
yeah,
I just had a moment where I got really stressed out and I had to step outside to take some breath and breathe and focus on my breathing. And her little dog Paddington happened to be out there and he came running up to me and barked at me. And normally, when Paddington does, I'm like, come on, Paddington, I don't want to pick you up. This time I picked him right up and held him, and I focused on breathing and allowing Paddington to do what he was doing, and I calmed down and I got myself under control. And it made me, and this conversation's making me realize, because like everyone know, I always share, I'm a science teacher, right? And the foundation of science is like, what makes it science is that it's observable, right? That's all. That's what makes it science. It's observable. When it's not observable, that it's psychic or whatever, that it's intuition and not yet demonstrated in a repeatable expected pattern. That's all, right? Because they haven't proven it through observing it in repeat times. So that's the whole process of things coming into science, right? Doesn't mean they don't exist. This has been happening for thousands of years, right? And it's part of probably why we've developed a relationship. They enjoy, like I think of the Royals, they love getting pet. Well, underneath the surface, they're just getting this, like they're having this great oxytocin. They feel really good, right? Also. So the point I wanted to make was those are also chemicals.
mm,
And the dog's ability to smell chemical changes in your
That's right.
body is so powerful. So it's not some mystery why
100,000 times
right
more than a human.
why a dog
100 times.
not only intuitively is sensing a change in the energy in the environment when a human is in distress, but also picking it up with their nose that there's a chemical change happening
yeah,
and rushing to me to just help ease and calm my body. It's so freaking
Yeah,
cool, man.
yeah.
So anyways,
And
there you
with
go.
what Samantha is sharing also, if you look at this image, you can see here this little square, and that square is where your pituitary gland lives. And the pituitary gland is heavily involved in the whole process. And your pituitary gland, as it gets larger in my world of understanding, increases intuitive knowledge. It increases intuitive impulses, information. it allows you a greater intuitive bank to operate from. So the more you're stimulating it in such a fashion, and especially with the release of oxytocin into the bloodstream, that it signals for the pituitary gland signals to the rest of the body, you're exercising that pituitary gland more frequently. And so you are apt to become more intuitive also. So I want you not to be putting aside your intuitive impulses, because one of the great gifts that dogs give us is the invitation to live more of the whole of who we are as an intuitive being. We are that. We are not just a bunch of knowledge and intellectual horse, okay?
Wow.
That was meant to serve the soul, and the all that knowledge or intellectual capability was like the capacity to drive your ship here. But the soul and your intuitive impulses are your inner knowing. They are that which hooks you up everywhere throughout all time, all creation. And and you want to be able to utilize that more. And I urge you, as an old woman, okay, who's lived a long life, I urge you to listen to yourself that way. It's one of the biggest reasons that entrepreneurs are so successful. And because they listen to their intuition, and why artists and great thinkers, they all listen to their intuitive impulses. So having a dog, in my experience, and I don't have the science for this, but I do have this science, which does imply what I'm saying very heavily. Thank you.
That
That's not in
that's
your
profound, man.
presentation. It's
That's
very
profound.
it's very
This is profound, man. This is so cool. It really is. And it was all starting to happen for me. I was like, the pituitary gland, isn't that where, the gland that actually is affected in your conscious development, like
That's right.
and wow, and you're just literally flooding it with the chemicals that, stimulate more of that.
Exactly.
That is killer.
Exactly.
That's killer.
And I mean, this is a very real, physiological, anatomical,
Right.
set of responses, and the waterfall of chemicals that enter your bloodstream and your system are so wonderful for you. So you really want to be kind to yourself and let yourself know. I have my book coming out like right around the corner. I just got it this morning, the finished
Oh,
version of it. I'm
congratulations.
so
That's
thrilled.
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's called The Way of the Dog, and you can get a link below. But what I wanted to do was to now I just lost my place. I have a severe brain difference, so give me just a moment. I'm intelligent, but I do have tiny little seizures due to a brain disease I had. Um, well, I'll get back to it. I won't hold us up. I remember. It was intuition is such a huge part of and a joy in a relationship with a dog. And the book that I wrote, The Way of the Dog, has a whole series of super easy, like in the flow of your ordinary life kinds of exercises and checklists for you to use. And you can take one little one each week or whatever, and use them. Remind yourself that you are deep and broad and forever, and so is your dog. And you two are doing it, man. You're doing it together, and it's wonderful.
And I would also say that our intuition is a very vital part of the way that we communicate with our dogs.
Hmm. Most definitely. And when Arturo talks about the capacity of a dog to smell over, it's well over 100 times our ability. And
Well, the stat that I shared a couple weeks ago was they could smell one part in a trillion. So
amazing.
that's one of 1 trillion. So if you think of $1 and $1 trillion, they can smell that $1 in the trillion. That's powerful.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take that
I'll take
$1 trillion.
that. You can smell all trillion as far as I'm
There you
concerned.
go. There you go. But so it's not just intuition, it is both. You have a physiological hookup and you want to be able to enjoy that, celebrate it, not wonder about it, not poo-poo it or put it down, the subject matter, keep it aside from general conversation or anything. It's super valuable. Okay, I'll let you take back over, Sam.
Okay, so this slide is a little sobering. So it's about the touch deprivation in seniors, and they just experience significant reduction in physical touch, oftentimes due to a loss of spouse or other family members being away from their families. And studies show 43% of community dwelling elderly experience social isolation. And
I'll tell you, Sam, I lost 5 of my closest friends in life in
mm,
18 months. They
mm,
weren't together either. I
yeah.
lost all of my closest friends, my closest people that I had known for years and years and years over
Yeah.
an 18-month period. And I am one of those people
Mm,
who lost my family, and my brother died, my mother died, my closest friends died. My mother was one of them. And uh, now I'm fortunate that I have a rich and full life. I have godchildren, I have work, I do a lot of things, but they are not those people. Those
right.
people knew me for 50 years. You know what I
Right.
mean? There are people you can sit on a porch with, never open your mouth, and you feel like you just visited two
Absolutely.
hours. Okay.
Yes.
And so when you lose that, you can gain that back with a dog.
Yeah.
You can gain that ability to sit quietly and feel as though you just had the greatest conversation, even though you never opened your mouth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this, touch deprivation, it basically lands people in the opposite of the positive results that we've been talking about with dogs. There's an increase in the stress hormone cortisol. There's a decrease in the bonding hormone, oxytocin. And these things, these little hormones, they have the power to, if they're doing great, increase immune function, or if they're not doing so great, decrease immune function and weaken the immune system, which is not good for seniors at all. Um, the results in higher rates of depression and anxiety. There's more increase in cognitive decline, and also a reduced sense and purpose. So dogs provide consistent, meaningful touch, as we've mentioned, that signals to the body that one is still alive and well and worthy of connection. So I want to just pause with this chart, um, and I'd like to share uh, 3 ways that dog interactions promote health through relaxation, bonding, and stress reduction pathways. So the first we've been discussing is through cortisol reduction and stress relief. So, interacting with dogs, including through touch, has been linked to decreased cortisol levels, which lowers stress and lowers blood pressure. For example, blood pressure is significantly lower when stroking a dog compared to even other activities, other supposedly relaxing activities like reading or just chatting. It's more of a blood pressure reducer to be petting a dog. Um, so this calming effect can be particularly powerful for seniors because tactile interactions like petting may buffer symptoms of conditions like Alzheimer's by promoting relaxation. The
Big
more im-
time.
the more impact on seniors is that touch interventions in care homes are associated with reduced behavioral and psychological symptoms in dementia. While on the other hand, lack of touch correlates with increased depression and stress in seniors. One qualitative study with older adults ranging from the age of 59 to 83 found that over 90% cited touch with their pet as essential to their sense of comfort, relaxation, connection, and health, especially during periods of isolation. And they expressed that the emotional comfort and reciprocal bonding that dogs provide help to counteract touch starvation. And many seniors describe this touch as uniquely reassuring. The touch from their dog wasn't, was unique to the touch of other humans because it provided them with a sense of well-being noted in both the caregiver and the animal. So, there's something to be said from receiving, knowing that we're receiving touch from our dog, but also knowing that we are making our dogs feel good and touching them. We can see it in their eyes. We can see that we're making them happy. And when we are giving in that way, when seniors are giving, able to still give that way, not just receive affection, but give it, there's something that is so bolstering to that.
And I'll tell you, the power of being witnessed is
Yes.
very powerful. Okay. I mean, it really is very impactful. And, one thing you have with a dog is they're happy to see you. Not only are you happy to see them, but they are genuinely, authentically happy to see you. And when you have that constant energy flowing toward you, along with all the other things you're naming, but being witnessed as a valuable person in that dog's life is just, it's heaven. It really is.
I'm thinking back to the interview that I did with Arturo with about my Royal Frenchels, and I hadn't planned what I was going to say or share about them, but by the end of our interview, what I kept saying and what I realized for myself is they just make me feel so chosen. Day in, day out, every time I see them, I feel so chosen and so worthy. And I didn't really recognize the value and the power of that until we did that interview, Arturo.
What a great way to express it. You feel
Chosen, yeah.
chosen. Another way of saying that you're being witnessed at
Yes.
this soul level,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love
And
that.
it doesn't even matter what kind of mood I'm in, what I'm wearing, what time of day it is. They choose me all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makeup, no makeup.
Good mood, bad mood,
Yeah,
they're fantastic in that regard. Um, so the second, you can stay on
whoops.
the chart for just one more moment.
Yes.
The second healing mechanism that dog interactions promote in seniors is increased oxytocin levels from petting and interaction. So, as I mentioned before, studies show that petting a dog for as little as 5 to 20 minutes can increase oxytocin levels in humans, fostering feelings of trust, increasing the sensation of being calm and connection. So, this hormone is not just from touch, but also from eye contact or play with the dog, helping to counteract isolation by making individuals feel, as you mentioned, Anahata, seen and valued. One study found that both humans and dogs experienced synchronized rises in oxytocin during positive interactions, creating a mutual feedback loop that enhances the sense of being alive and desired. Okay, so you can go on to the next slide. And the third mechanism of support dogs offer through touch-based therapy for seniors is eye contact and emotional bonding. Maintaining eye contact with the dog can elevate oxytocin again and reduce stress, similar to human gaze interactions. Research on pet therapy session notes increased eye contact, which correlates with improved mood and a sense of being acknowledged. And this is especially relevant for seniors because it mimics the affirming gaze that might diminish in human relationships with age.
Hmm.
So, when it comes to touch, eye contact, and dogs, when dogs and people gaze into each other's eyes, the physiological response of the body is to increase and release oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the love hormone. The electrical activity in the brain, it can actually be scientifically measured with EEGs and shows synchronized brain activity during shared eye contact and petting, that
Oh,
deep connection and attachment in both the human and the dog.
isn't that
So
precious?
it
That's
is,
so precious to
and
me.
so it's
And
saying
and
that,
I mean, I'm reading the slide here, and I know I created them, but just the same, I'm reading the slide, and it's so powerful to think that just 2 to 5 minutes of looking in your dog's eyes gives you over a 300% increase in oxytocin for both you and the dog. That's crazy.
yeah, and I love, you mentioned in your book the exercises that we can do with our dogs. And
Mm,
as you practice those and
mm.
you see yourself change and you see your dog change. So if you have a dog that you haven't practiced looking into their eyes, they can be a little shifty. It can be uncomfortable for them, just like it's
Well,
uncomfortable for us.
I'm going to share a little thing about that, if I may,
Please. Yeah,
because
yeah.
one of the things that we do here, of course, is something called love bucket training. And it's a specific training that I do that I created for the dogs that I raise. And we have very specific people that do that love bucket training. And I'm like, you can tell if it's happening or not all by the eyes and the activity level of the puppy. So if somebody comes in to do love bucket training and they're looking at their phone or they're just sitting there daydreaming and not interacting with the dog gets disappointed. People need to remember that they are a being, okay? They're a creature that is a being and they have feelings and thoughts and they look forward to seeing us. And when they look forward to seeing us and we are busy and ignore them or turn away or don't really give them a moment of isolated, authentic, direct contact from our hearts, okay? When we don't give them that, they get injured and they will start darting with their eyes. They don't want to land on you with their eyes because it brings up the pain of how many times they were left. And I really want to urge people to do that just for a couple of minutes, even. Get it to where your dog can look at you and hang out with you. And you're not doing some of the, new age stare downs that people do or things. I'm not making fun of it. I am making fun of it a little bit. But I don't I value what the point of it is. It's just that I think it gets taken to sort of ridiculous things. But in any event, you know, a dog gets wounded when it is not witnessed back. And then they don't share their gaze anymore because it brings up the pain in them
Mm.
of all the times they weren't witnessed, just like any human being would feel. And if you become consistent and reliable again, and you give that to them, they'll turn back on and they will start looking at you again.
Mm.
So I want people to understand that.
That's
Yeah,
so
so
cool.
it's a great lead in, because what I was just going to say was that the combination of eye contact and touch, both between humans and dogs, produces the highest level of brain to brain synchrony, which correlates with greater well-being and feelings of being valued and alive. It's what
Mm,
you were just talking about.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
For seniors, touch and loving eye contact from a dog can serve as an invaluable reminder of social inclusion and care, activating brain pathways that combat loneliness and depressive feelings that are especially critical for seniors who may lack regular human connection. So, for seniors, this can bolster their perception of belonging, their sense of being involved and participating in life activities, and offer them a shift in focus toward being accepted and valued. It can be an important reminder that regardless of their age, regardless of their physical or mental state, they are indeed worthy. They matter and they're loved.
Amen.
So, the benefits of affectionate touch from a dog are especially vital for older adults who are at risk of touch deprivation. The research and studies confirm support for the benefits of dog relationships in senior and healthcare facilities based on highly positive, evidence backed outcomes. There's a robust
Again,
scientific.
I want to just remind everyone, it's not only seniors, it's shut-ins and it's
Yeah,
people
thank
with chronic illness who have lost people in their lives because they were chronically ill and required care. And the people that were connected to them just weren't up for it, or they lived far away, or they have passed, et cetera, et cetera. And chronically ill people oftentimes are, you know, are don't get touch as well, and they don't get that kind of connection, and they feel like they're not seen because they have a condition that most people don't have. So the pain they're suffering is not gotten, by others. They haven't experienced anything like that. So they don't even talk a lot about the struggles or the challenges that they have. Having a dog can do all these things that we're speaking about here right now. And I really want people to understand that. If you suffer any chronic illness, please contact me. I will help you get a dog. And a Royal Frenchel is one of the greatest dogs on earth, as far as I'm concerned. And I've had all kinds over my long, long life. But why they're so great is that they're relationally oriented. They're not territorial. They're relational. And so they're extremely easy to train, and they're small enough that they don't challenge you physically, and they only need moderate exercise. They're hypoallergenic, so you can take them anywhere, and they behave. They have natural manners. Everybody, what is the statement that we
Manners
use?
matter most.
Oh yeah, we always say a Royal Frenchel was born with manners matter most because they have such incredible manners. I mean, you must experience that too, Sam, do you?
Well, I have a recent example of experiencing that, what you just said, that they're born with manners. I got my third Royal Frenchel, and she was 3 months old, a little under 3 months old when I hopped on the plane with her for the first time.
Yep.
And boy, did she have manners. She might have made a pip once or twice, but it was to the point where, the flight attendants were checking on her and seeing how she was doing, and the man sitting next to me couldn't have been more pleased to be. There were no complaints for him, and she was just a pro. I didn't, and it was nothing that I did. She was just that way. And the
Yep.
whole long trip that we took home. So it was great.
Right, can I jump in? And I want to just add one more thing that I came to my
Yeah,
mind that
please.
you guys are sharing. Um, One of the coolest things I just noticed was that a lot of, I have nothing against prescription drugs. However, you become dependent on something outside of you, right, to make you feel better. And that's okay if that's the situation you're in. But the contrast that to feeling better as a result of a relationship and still having the chemical product, right? Because really, like, biochemists and stuff, and pharmaceutical industries figure out these little chemical formulations to interrupt certain processes in your body or generate balances in your hormones so you feel better. Well, I personally would want my body to naturally start to respond and learn how to produce that instead of
Right.
depending on something outside of me, right? So it really gives the body, the individual, the experience of generative health, and the dog the same thing. Like Anahata, here we always talk like when we have puppies, we never remove them from their mothers. Even if they're older, the mother is so important to be around the dog during their developmental stage, exactly for this reason. It is a health
Oh
a
yeah.
critical health requirement, not just a benefit, it's a requirement for them to have that interaction, that relationship. And when they don't, they suffer, and they suffer health issues.
Oh yeah, their immune
The
system goes down.
physiological is no
It doesn't
different.
even take a week.
There's no
Their immune
separation.
system goes
There really
down.
isn't.
They get things called puppy mange almost right away. And you know, if you remove a mom too soon from pups, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for that, Arturo. So kind of wrapping it up, you know, there's just a robust scientific support for the value of dog touch and just the dog's presence alone, especially among seniors experiencing isolation and others people experiencing isolation or low social contact for whatever circumstances that may be due to. The
I,
evidence
I'm
strong.
sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just think that it's really important to understand that, you know, down here where you see meta-analysis of 3.8 million people
Huge.
shows that dog ownership was associated with a 24% reduction in all causes of mortality.
Yeah, it's
You have
amazing.
a 24% higher chance of living longer if you have a dog across the board. I mean, come on, you know, I mean, how can you not think they are the best supplement in the entire universe?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. 65% reduction in mortality risk for different types of cardiovascular issues. Um, you know, it's so valuable.
Yes, for sure. You know, the evidence strongly supports dogs as touch-based therapy for vitality in aging, but also, you know, across the board.
Hmm.
And for seniors, a dog's unconditional attention can reignite a desire to remain alive and well by combating apathy and promoting routine and physical activity and exercise. Um, the
It
gen-
also brings people to you. When you have a dog, you're like a magnet for new
Mhm,
relationships.
mhm.
Everywhere you go, someone wants to talk to you. Oh, what a cute dog. Oh, can I pet your dog? Oh, where did you get your dog? Conversations get started in public with for these beautiful souls who are older, who don't have people in their lives anymore the same way. And it's so lovely to be out and about and meet people and strike up conversations and things. And if you are just alone and a white hair, as they call them, and you know, and you're walking around, especially women, they tend to be completely overlooked. I mean, they don't even look in your eyes often. And I've done a lot of experiments of that with Arturo because I was teaching him the truth about it in our society. And we've gone places and done a little test, and they don't even look at me. They look at him and speak directly to him. But when I have a dog, they talk to me. The first they look at my dog and talk to my dog, but then eventually their eyes raise and they look at me and we engage. And without a dog, a person doesn't have a chance really of connecting with anybody outside of their home. And if they don't have anybody in their home, who are they going to connect with? Their doctor? I mean, come on.
Right. They're like a trust bridge between people.
Yeah, yeah,
People trust you more when you have a dog. They want to know you.
So
yeah.
this is really, really important, you know, the all variables just in terms of quality of life and cognitive ability increases so enormously. I mean, look at this, folks. This is enormous, you know, from depression and apathy and anxiety and loneliness, quality of life. Look at the improvement score on quality of life for people with dogs. It's phenomenal. So gentle stroking, scratching, patting, therapeutic holding, all the things that Sam has shared about. I want to tell you one thing. Oh, well, let's just cover this real quick. Um, Johns Hopkins implemented a comprehensive therapy program, and in it, 42%, they experienced a 42% reduction in pediatric patient anxiety before procedures. That's huge. And if you go into a procedure, and I've had a lot of medical procedures in my lifetime. I've had over 30 surgeries. As I said, I was very ill as a child. I wasn't born with antibodies, so I ended up with a brain disease and a number of different things. And if you go into a procedure anxious, I'll tell you, you experience 10 times the pain. You experience all kinds of difficulties with whatever the procedure is. Okay. Well, I'm being told by Arturo to cool my pits here that we're getting late in the show. But also, in terms of workplaces, the Mayo Clinic had dogs there for their staff, and they had a 31% reduction in reported workplace stress and a 22% decrease in staff burnout indicators. So that means their team cohesion and communication and all those things went up. And they also, by the way, they also within 1 year in the program that we do with organizations, in just 1 year, it pays for itself. And you know why? Because absenteeism goes down, turnover rate stops. I mean, it's phenomenal. People want to go to work to see the dog, for God's sake. It's ridiculously wonderful. And we don't just do healthcare facilities or centers. Sam will visit all kinds of offices and businesses because they can benefit from them everywhere to stop burnout and increase the joy and teamwork in offices. Well, folks, that's it. I wanted to, how do I do that? I'm going to, yeah. 1 second. I want to bring Sam back on to conclude. There you go, Sam. I'm sorry I did end up taking over. I couldn't help.
No, I think it's great to be more conversational because again, we get to talk very joyfully about the healing power of dogs. So it's just another time to be grateful to be able to participate in that conversation with you and share it with other people so that they can learn of all the benefits that dogs have to offer.
Wonderful. Well, if you're good, I'm going to move on and just share
Well,
about.
let me just say one
Well,
thing.
okay.
So they're talking about the Noble Canine Guardians Program, which the site, our website, the Royal Frenchel website, will host. It'll be on there, but you're going to be able to have a link to it soon. And you can reach out if you work for a company or if you're in an institution and you see the value that what they're sharing about, that having a dog there consistently is going to benefit your staff, then please reach out to us. Like, just send us an email. You can even write us at Royal Frenchel, put a comment in there. We will reach out to you. Sam will reach out to you. Anahata, you'll get to meet with them and come up with a plan and go for it, because part of all this research they're doing is to help you have that. So,
Yeah.
you have us on your side. Let's make it happen. So I just want to make sure you knew you can do that. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, even the website's not up.
My whole transition in life now is, I want to sell Royal Frenchel. So if anybody wants to buy Royal Frenchel, I would be very open to a conversation about that. I'm getting older. I have 5 more surgeries to have right now, and I would love it. But the transition that I'm in is really wanting to bring the wisdom and the knowledge that I've had about dogs and learn more and share it with people and human beings, in terms of my knowledge and wisdom about human beings, and really share about living, well, living in love. And how do you do that? This whole presentation, this whole show was really all about love. We're talking about the largest organ of the body, the skin, and we're talking about touch, and we're talking about eye contact and all the things. If you think about someone you, in quotes, love, those are the things that you do with them. Okay? So what are we talking about? Love. All right. Well, now I'm going to share. I love this product. Okay. This is the tail wagging love uh thermos that I absolutely adore. I take it all the time. I always keep food in it for my dogs. It has both the food section and the water section, and I can drink out of it every time, every single show. I say the same thing. I can drink out of it, which I just adore because it's a bonding experience. It has been, and I really didn't think that that was going to be the case. But in my car, if I pull this out, my dogs all get in their little places. Everybody settles in and they just have a ball with me. We all have a little snack. I don't usually, this one has the kibble in it, but lots of times I put snacks in it that I can eat with them. And I'll get a little protein boost and have some water and stay hydrated. And so will they. And it's just the loveliest thing. We listen to music, sit in the car for a little while, have a little snack, enjoy ourselves, and nobody gets dehydrated. Whereas before, I would go out for an hour, which would turn into 5, of course, and I would get dehydrated, and so would my dogs. There's no doubt about it. I would. And so yeah, so look it up. The link's down below. And then, of course, I have the book coming out, so please look for it. It's really exciting. I'm going to need reviews, and I've put my heart and soul into it, and a ton of resources that are pretty special. It is really a unique book, and it's
It
got
is beautiful.
gorgeous
Beautiful.
photos and things all throughout the whole book. I've really put everything I had into it. So it's a book if you have a dog, you're going to want it for life. I mean, I really think so. I think it's going to be the book that you sort of have by your bed, in your bathroom. You're always going to be looking at things, and electronically too. You can print out the things that are valuable there in the book, because every single chapter has some things in it that are exercises and checklists that are fun to have and put up on your wall so you remember. Just have thoughts go through your head so that you're apt to act in that direction. And yeah, I think that's about it. Is there anything else, Arturo? Oh, puppies. Let me show you a few. Arturo's going to show you a few puppies.
Sam, do you mind turning your video off so we can have the puppies be big?
Bye,
Yeah,
Sam.
no problem. Bye,
Lots
guys.
of
Thank
love.
you.
Mwah. Thank you so much, Sam. Wonderful, wonderful talk. Thank you.
Okay, here comes Basil. No, this isn't Basil. This is Bucky.
This is Bucky.
He's got a new
He's
name.
been my
It's-
Bucky. Oh, this my
That's Bucky.
Bucky.
Keep him coming.
Oh, he's such a good boy, Buck.
This is Basil.
Yes, you are.
This
No,
is
I'm not.
Basil.
This is
Boy, Basil.
Buck. Hold. Settle. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Thank you. He's being trained right now, and he's going to probably, he's for sale, but he may also end up in the Canine Guardian Program.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's a lovely little boy. And then there's Basil.
This is Basil.
Yeah,
He's
here
a
you go,
sweet
honey.
boy. Here you go.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go down.
You have
Go.
no idea, folks. This is my one of my boys. His name is Billy, and he's sitting here going, "Wait a minute, why are you holding all those puppies? Why?"
These guys are all on the website.
Yep,
If you
yeah.
want to
Feel
meet them
free.
in person, just reach out to us.
And we
We'll
have
do this.
and we have some super micros right now, which isn't always the case. So you can get the tiniest all the way down to the biggest.
And
And
Fanny.
little Miss
Oh, she's so warm.
Butterscotch. I call her Miss Butter
Oh,
because she's
God,
she's
so,
butterscotch.
she's so warm.
Oh, yeah, but you got to turn her head that way, honey,
Yeah.
so people can see.
She's coming. She's coming. There you go. Oh. There you go, sweetheart.
That's it.
There you go. See?
All right, everyone. Well, listen.
Oh, one more
we-
Teddy. Let's just show Teddy.
Oh,
Easy.
Teddy.
Teddy wants to
Yeah.
come
Oh
on.
my God.
Come on,
He's
Teddy.
so
This
luscious.
is on one on how to
Teddy
say it.
is very luscious boy.
you
He's
go,
just
boy.
the gentlest soul you ever met. And so calm, and oh, he's just a doll. He's a wonderful boy.
Such a
So that's
sweetheart.
Teddy. And then we also have other pups. I'm not sure where they are. Well, we're at the end of the show anyway. So all right, everyone, please go to the Royal Frenchel website to see more pups. be aware my book is coming out, and I have some surprises for everyone in the coming week or two as well, regarding another project that I have. Don't forget Mr. White is going to be in beta soon for you and your dog to have all your care. All right. Mwah.